Trust the profits. It's a formula here. Doing a race that I wasn't going to do a full field rundown for it first, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love the field that's involved here. I think it's just it's a real intriguing race this year. The Matt Winn Stakes, emphasis on the win. Sunday, June 8th. Keep in mind that is Sunday. You look at a race like this and you think, oh yeah, it's a Saturday race, but no. Maybe because of Belmont, they wanted to put this one on Sunday, and I can understand why. What makes this race so intriguing to me, and we're going to see in a moment here, we got a lot of horses coming off the Derby, a lot of horses that people liked going into the Derby. We're top end heavy, the top three horses in the Belmont Stakes, but it feels like a lot of the other horses that had an edge there. You thought, okay, maybe, yeah, you get some double digits on this horse here. I've got a favorite horse in this race as well. So that was a big reason for me to take a look at the Matt Winn Stakes because I just think it's a really intriguing race. Looking at the past, there's some really great horses here, but it's not like every year that this happens, right? You don't look across all these horses and say, "Oh yeah, top to bottom, these are your favorites." You got Gunrunner McCracken in there, Maxfield, Cyberknife. Cyberknife had a nice cup of coffee there. But then you get like a Disarm, a Society Man. You get a couple horses in there that, they're good, but they're not spectacular. They're not get me excited about handicapping this race good. But this time around, I feel like we got something here with the Matt Winn Stakes. What do we got? We've got 7 horses entered in. It is June 8th, 2025. That's a Sunday. It is a G3. And what is that purse? No, not anywhere close. It's $400,000. All right. We got a ways to go before that thing reaches $1 million. And we can play Dr. Evil again. Churchill Downs is where this race is going to be. 8.5 furlongs on dirt. That is 1 1/16 mile. 7 horses entered in here. We're starting at the top with a Baffert horse here. Yeah, gaming is in this race. So I was surprised to see this in 7 races, 2 wins, 2 second places, 2 third places. Not very often that gaming falls out of the money, but then I remembered, hey, there's a lot of these races. A lot of these races in California where there's only like 5 horses in the race. Gaming was a part of that for sure, for sure. But last time out at the Pat Day Mile, sitting 1 to 2 lengths off the pace set by Macho Music. Sitting back there, lost to Macho Music by 3.5 lengths in that one. I believe Modicat Road was also in that race. 1, 2, 3 for those 3 horses. That's okay. That's all right. Second at the Hot Springs, 8 furlongs. Trying to stalk the pace set by Clever again, but then it ended up falling back 4 lengths behind Clever again. A Steve Asmussen horse that we just saw at Preakness. So not super hot there. Third at the Los Alamitos. Seemed like it was his race to win. Going into that one, you're thinking, hey, second place BC Juvenile. Gonna win this. Who's in there? Getaway Car. Oof. And then Journalism took over and beat gaming by 6 lengths in that one. Yeah. Second at the BC Juveniles we talked about before. Second to Citizen Bull. Bob Baffert, Florent Giraud. Game winner. Moving on to Final Gambit. This was the horse that I really liked going into the Derby. Yeah, this was my my smart guy pick, my long shot. My hey, I like the way he closes. So if he gets the right situation, he might be there. We're getting a jockey change here. Luan Machado did nothing wrong with this horse, in my opinion. But Flavian Pratt comes along. You switch to Flavian Pratt. I apologize, Luan. You'll get your chance. Don't worry. 4th at the Kentucky Derby, starting out in 19th place. That's where he likes to be. Started picking him up as he was going along. Moving up to 4th, 4.25 lengths off of Sovereignty. He just wasn't the best closer in the race. Sovereignty was. Simple as that. Winner of the Jeff Ruby Stakes before that, starting in the back, as you would expect. Deep closer, closing hard for a 3.5 length win over Flying Mohawk. And again, if you watch that one, he goes about 6 wide, 7 wide, and just plows past everybody. Broke his maiden. Who cares? We're past that point. Tends towards deep closer, has stalked, but everything I see from him, it's deep closer. Brad Cox, Yeah, Flavian Pratt. How about that? Chunk of Gold, one win in 5 races. Came in ninth place at the Derby, 2 to 5 lengths off the pace, depending where you looked at him. But as often happens when you're that close to the pace, unless you're a really strong horse, you fall behind. So he fell behind in ninth place, 15 length loss behind Sovereignty there. Second, the Louisiana Derby, staying close to the pace, closing from just behind. Tistastic taking over uh, and gave him a 2 1/4 length loss. Second at the Risen Star, again, sitting 5 to 7 lengths off the pace, bumping a little bit here and there. Ended up losing that one, and then the Leonidas Stakes. So solid horse here. A number of second place finishes in good stakes races. Chunk of Gold. Just a fair shake. 100% in the money. His biggest race to date was the Sir Barton Stakes, second place in that one, starting in the back, closing for second, but still lost to Crudo by 7.5 lengths. Ran in the Federico Tessio Stakes, staying 3 lengths off the pace in that one, closing to within 1.5 lengths of Pay Billy. Just a fair shake. An interesting entry, I guess you could say. Interesting. Yeah, here's another big Derby horse for you, Burnham Square. This is another one of those favorites that people had out there. Sixth place at the Kentucky Derby, respectable, 6 lengths off of the pace, advancing. Ended up running into on the rail a slowing down Admire Daytona that made him change his path a little bit, but he was still able to recover for sixth place, 10 lengths behind Sovereignty. Winner of the Bluegrass Stakes before that, starting in the back, starting a step slow, and then yeah, and running down a pace-setting East Avenue who was looking to change his reputation. The East Avenue reputation was taking a nosedive, but we'll get to that later. Fourth at the Fountain of Youth, where he lost a little bit of respect that he got at the Holy Bull, where he got first place there, settling less than 2 lengths off the pace, pushing down the stretch for a 1 3/4 length over to Pan Street. Burnham Square, yeah, a lot of people in love with Burnham Square. You can understand why. Coal Battle. Here's another Derby horse that people are falling in love with. Coal Battle, the horse that just wins. Now down to 9 races, 5 wins, 11th at the Derby, starting out middle of the pack in 11th place, really. Moving up slowly, but still getting overtaken down the stretch to lose by 17 lengths. Third at the Arkansas Derby, starting out in third place, overtaken Cornucopian, but then losing to deep closer Sandman and Publisher down the stretch. 7 length loss for him there. Did win the Rebel Stakes. That was his biggest win. 7 lengths off the pace in fifth, advancing up to take the lead and then battling Modicat Road for a 1 1/4 length win there. Coal Battle. East Avenue. So 2 wins in 6 races. Yeah, he told me this time last year, East Avenue just have 2 wins. Yeah, maybe I'd believe you, maybe not. But he definitely seemed like one of the up and coming horses on the Derby path. But that's why you can't read too much into the fall and winter numbers of the previous year for those 2-year-olds. Once that calendar turns around, you start to see things in a different light. You see more races, more times, more past performances, build up a different impression. But I think East Avenue is trying to turn that around. So eighth place at the Kentucky Derby, starting off 3 lengths off the pace. Lost ground down the stretch, 13 lengths back the winner, Sovereignty in that one. No surprise there. This happens to a lot of pace-setting horses, and we expected it to happen to East Avenue and Owen Almighty and any horse that had Bob Baffert as a trainer, right? But then, before that, second at the Bluegrass Stakes, setting the pace, holding on for about as long as he could before being run down by Burnham Square, who beat him by a nose in that one. 10th at the Risen Star. This is, the Risen Star, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. These were races where we started to really doubt what we were seeing before from East Avenue and whether he was actually a runner or maybe just a one-turn pony. But yeah, 10th at the Risen Star, stalking the position early on, never really able to make a move, didn't respond, finished 22 lengths off of Magnitude in that one. Looking to see Magnitude again, hopefully. Ninth at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, stumbled badly out of the gates. Definitely a horse that wanted to get up there and get close to Citizen Bull and Gaming, but never really recovered at all in that one. So, East Avenue, perfect opportunity for him to jump out of this, take over. Gaming is in this race. Gaming is going to be pace forward. But yeah, so far we've talked about a lot of horses that are more closers. You got Chunk of Gold in there. He's going to put some pace pressure on, but this is the perfect opportunity for us to see something positive from East Avenue. And then we get to the end. Who do I like? I like Burnham Square. Yeah. I mean, as much as I like Final Gambit, I think he's more of a value play here. I'm not sure what the odds are going to be. I would expect Burnham Square would be pretty high up there in terms of odds. But yeah, I've got Burnham Square on top. I just think him recovering in that Derby. Final Gambit finished in front of him, but if you watch the video and the stuff that Burnham Square had to go through for him to recover to 6 was pretty impressive. Um, yeah, yeah, and obviously the Bluegrass was also really impressive. Final Gambit's my value play. I really like Final Gambit. If there's any sort of pace competition and there's an opening for a closer, this is a horse that looks as strong as anyone down the stretch. He just comes from further back, and that's what happened to him at the Derby. He came from further back, and just other horses that were paced forward and still strong down the stretch were able to beat him. Final Gambit, very similar to Sierra Leone. Then you got East Avenue. I'm going to keep them up there because I think of all the pace horses, this is the one based on what I saw at the Bluegrass that is probably going to be able to hold on a little bit longer. And then Chunk of Gold. I like Chunk of Gold to be a horse that applies pace. Maybe he doesn't finish in the top three, but or maybe he doesn't win, but maybe he can finish in the top three. I like him better than Gaming. I think Gaming. I I was really high on Gaming last year, and then the bloom is off the rose for that one there. I haven't seen. I know he finishes in the top three a lot, but I think in this competition, I don't think there's a spot for Gaming, unfortunately. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the Matt Winn. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section. Um, have yourself a lovely day. Enjoy your Sunday, your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.